shark when I see one.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2023 horror shark film, The Black Demon. The film is directed by Adrian Grunberg and it stars Josh Lucas. Now, the film focuses on Josh Lucas's character who is heading down to Mexico, I think it is, with his family, his young family, his wife and 2 children. He is essentially like an oil rig inspector, and there is an oil rig offshore where he is going, and it is his job to inspect it to make sure it is still safe to stay open. When he gets to this town, the last time he was there, this town was thriving. However, this time when he gets there, the town is distinctly dying. Trade has left, people have left, everybody seems afraid, nobody's friendly. However, he still heads out to the rig, and once he gets there, he finds it abandoned, apart from 2 people there. And then, for reasons, his family also head out to the rig. And once there, he discovers the horrifying truths of why the town is in the state it's in. There is a giant shark terrorizing the local area, seemingly as a punishment for the rig spilling oil into the environment. Right. What are my thoughts on The Black Demon? I saw the trailer for this, I don't know how long ago it was, a couple of weeks maybe a bit longer. And I thought it looked fairly interesting. It looked promising because we do get quite a lot of shark films thrust into onto the supermarket shelves, onto the streaming services, whatever you want to call it. And most of them aren't very good, I think it's fair to say. Maybe a couple of them a year are worth a watch, and there's probably dozens of them released every year. So this is kind of one of those where it looks like, oh, they've got a bit of a budget here. We've got a recognisable face, Josh Lucas. This could be getting like a limited run in cinemas, so on and so forth. There's promise here. However, unfortunately, this film is a definite disappointment, I think it's fair to say. It's a shark film with just, simply put, not enough shark for a start. The film feels preachy, like environmental. Humans are bad to the environment. We've seen it so many times before in movies. Oil spills are bad. We know this. This is your punishment. This mystical shark, and the film dips its toes into mysticism and Mexican legend and all this kind of stuff, and you just kind of like it kind of takes it away from essentially what could have been like a decent creature feature. Much of the film is filled with these few people on this rig, and that itself doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? The fact that there's only 2 people left on this rig, everybody else has left or worse has happened to them, and for however long they've been there, they've not really been able to come up with any kind of plan. Josh Lucas turns up and he's full of ideas. None of them good, but he's full of ideas, generally speaking. And they kind of listen to him. These 2 people are on this rig. These are essentially, the people that have been working and living on this rig. And he's coming up with these crackpot ideas, and they're just kind of like, yeah, I'll do that. I'll get that. I'll get in that little thing and get dunked in water, because that shark won't get me in any way, shape or form. I'll be perfectly safe. And you just kind of think, well, these guys have seen what the shark's capable of, yet he's still getting inside that thing and going in the water. I don't think so. So it's one of those films that it just doesn't make any sense. They come up with plans that to do stuff, but you're not exactly sure what it is they're trying to achieve, other than they're going to have to get in the water, which means we're going to get a scene with a shark attacking, sort of thing. And that's essentially where we are with this movie. They have to come up with reasons to get them in the water so the shark can be a threat, sort of thing. Because even though it's been chipping away at this oil rig for however long it's been there, you know, at the end of the day, this oil rig is, you know, pretty tough. So they have to get them in the water somehow. And it just doesn't generate any real tension at all. Because, like I say, other than Josh Lucas and his young family, who they're not particularly well fleshed out, is what I want to say. I mean, for me, I think you've kind of made an error somewhere along the lines. If you're putting a husband and a mother and two young kids in a film, and you couldn't care less if any of them get munched, to me, there's a problem with the writing there. You know what I mean? If you can't feel concern for like little kiddies in a film, then they've done something wrong there. And unfortunately, you don't. There's even a dog in this film that you don't feel any concern for. They don't even get that bit right. So it's one of those. It's just not frightening. There's very little tension. And what you do see of the shark isn't overly impressive. I mean, it's supposed to be a megalodon, and it just doesn't. It doesn't project that well in the film. The size of this creature and the threat of this creature, potential threat of this creature. There's a reasonably effective scene where it kind of jumps out of the water and chomps a boat. That's not a spoiler because you can see it in the trailer. And it, you know, after that, it's nothing really. It doesn't feel like it's man against shark, this film. You know what I mean? It's almost like man against man. And there's a scene, if you like, where his wife discovers why the oil rig essentially has broken down and is leaking oil. And it is the company's fault, really. And for the most part, her husband has a large part in that. So there's a scene where she confronts her husband about the state of the rig and his involvement in it, where effectively she calls him the monster, and you're just thinking, well, there's no way back for him from there. That's his marriage over with. And then pretty much 5 minutes later, it feels like, the hugging and making up. Well, the hugging and showing nothing but love for each other. And you're just kind of like, hang on a minute. He was the devil 5 minutes ago, and now it's all hugs and kisses. So a film is just so unbalanced. It's not exciting and it's not frightening. The only real things you can kind of compliment this film on is the fact that it's fairly polished. It's got a reasonable budget behind it, and the performances are of a good standard throughout. Unfortunately for me, it's another shark film that fails to deliver on thrills and spills and excitement, and it's one that is going to be forgotten about very, very quickly, in my opinion. So, yeah, it's not really one I can recommend, unfortunately, which is a real shame because I thought the trailer showed an awful lot of promise. But unfortunately, I don't think this one is going to tick many people's boxes. So, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this review. I'll be back with more content on the channel very, very soon.